Good ideas frequently are at the frontiers between different fields and some things that is new and hasn't been explored before, but really the way you recognize it is because you find them exciting, and it's also because you find them exciting that you're motivated and you can execute on them, and that's also what makes them a good idea in the first place.
When I'm trying to evaluate an idea, the first thing I do is I look inside myself and I ask, is this something that excites me, something that I want to put a huge amount of my own time and effort into for many months or many years? And then the second thing I do is I look outside myself. So I look for friends or mentors or experts, people who are in a position to evaluate the idea, to know if it's practical, if it can actually be achieved, if it's going to be something that is safe, if it's going to impact the world in a positive way. And especially I look for people who are smarter than me. And if the idea gets their approval too, then we're good to go.
So to me, a good idea is elegant, right? It's something that doesn't require, billions of dollars of technology. I mean, there are some challenges that are so difficult that, that you need a really rare piece of technology or an instrument to solve it. But the ideas that resonate most deeply with me are very impactful. They're pretty obvious questions that most people have just pondered and then dismiss as, okay, well, I'm not going to work on that, or, oh, that's impossible to solve, and then they move on to another problem. So to me, a good idea sort of exists in that area, in that universe, and you come up with a very elegant, solution that's relatively inexpensive and just allows you enough time to try and fail until you eventually get to a result. Also, a good idea is it's supported by a plan that leads you to a place of certainty, right? So, students are taught that this is, building a good hypothesis, right? So a good idea in terms of discovery. So this is, probably not entirely relevant to engineering, but in terms of discovery, your best ideas are going to be the ones that a lot of people have thought about trying to solve, but haven't really, figured out a way to approach it in an elegant way. So once you get there, those are the types of ideas that make me really excited.
I've seen different types of scientists, and that's one way of responding to the question, how do scientists come up with ideas? And the two different types I've seen at the extreme are people who are very, very quiet, who integrate carefully all available information and then make a brave decision about what they want to do, but they pretty much figure out the right answer ahead of time. So that's one extreme. The other extreme is what I would describe as high throughput screening. Blah, 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 thousands of ideas. You're just throwing them out there, shooting from the hip. But then you have the discipline of bounding how much energy you'll spend on any one. And if it's not a good idea in terms of what information you're getting back when you try it out, you'll kill it. Or you'll put it on the shelf so that you can recover your time and energy, your opportunity cost to try the next idea. And both extremes work very well, and there's probably something in between. But I think it's hard to know except to try the idea out and to be ready to kill the idea, or at least kill your relationship with it before you get hurt by wasting too much time.
I think there are two reactions to ideas. There's reactions from the heart and there's reactions from the head. I think that intuitively there is a feeling that I get when I hear an idea that I feel like might be good. Of course, you don't know if it's a good idea in a way until after things unfold a little bit more. But I think you trust your intuition, and then you trust your head about kind of the strategies that are being employed, the technical merits, and so on. But I trust my heart a lot as well.
A good idea is always coupled to somebody who's willing to chase that idea. So usually a good idea balances being well thought out, but also involves some sort of conceptual leap. So it involves a degree of thoughtful bravery.
That is really hard. Good ideas surprise you, they solve problems, and they clarify.
Feeling of excitement that persists even when I try to tear it down, day after day after day, week after week after week. If I still like it, then it might be a good idea, but you really only know if it's a good idea 3 years later if it gave you good results.
So a good idea is, to me, an idea where you try to tackle a problem, a difficult problem that people have tried to solve for a long time, and then you come up with a new approach, a new way of doing things, or you invent a new tool to attack the problem.